Hello, hello. Thank Godot. It's Friday. How's it going? Welcome to Party Wipe, episode 52, where we make our roguelike deck builder about drafting an RPG party. How's it going, everybody? Pardon me. Just finishing up breakfast. Got my coffee. Got a to-do list. Probably going to ignore it. The to-do list, not the coffee. How's it going? Let's change this radio. Let's get our co-working radio going. Here we go. How's everyone? Hey, Rhiannon, Nix, thanks for the hydrate. I'll have a drink of coffee just for you. Back down to 0 streak again. Me too, so don't worry about it. I know I have not been keeping up my own streaming streak. Sorry for missing Tuesday and Thursday this week. It's appalling. It's appalling, but I'll be here today and tomorrow. So we'll do some stuff over the weekend. Hey, Nanigans. Hey, Sapphire. Jacob, yo. Sapphire with the 175 stream streak. Crazy. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Not even at 1 year, but 175 stream streak. It's incredible. I mean, 1 year in terms of like badges. We'll survive. Yeah, hopefully. You forgive me? Thanks. As long as you forgive me, everyone else will fall into line. What's everyone up to? I almost started a new Baldur's Gate playthrough yesterday. I was like in the character creation screen and then I had to go and do something else. So we'll see. If that happens, I'll check back in. I've been wanting some D&D and that seems like the best way to get it. All right, where are we at? I don't know. I did mess around with some stuff yesterday and I've been working on some stuff this week, really trying to finish all the UI stuff so we can move on. What's everyone doing? Rhiannon, you're tired. You did some official job work last night? No. Had an undocumented side effect, which broke a number of pages. Oh, no. Spent the morning figuring out the issue. Documenting, making sure it won't happen again. I love an undocumented. Love documenting undocumented side effects. Yeah, I might go back into it. I've been wanting a taste of D&D, and that seems like the best way to get it. We'll see. We'll see how far I get through. I feel like I barely got anywhere. I think I had just started wandering into the Underdark last playthrough. I think I got like 24 hours in or something. Felt like I'd barely gotten started. We'll see. Jacob, you just got fishing in your game. Now you're looking into how you're going to implement the actual terrain. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, we're looking okay here. I did some stuff around... I did some small stuff around card selection. Not card selection, character selection. I added a little ghost to movement. I think the ghost is maybe a little too opaque, but I think it's okay. I have to decide how I want to do. I think it'll look a lot more clear during a turn because you'll get the arrows from the character's previous position and the new position. So I think it'll be a lot more clear what's going on there. Oh, what else did I do? So yeah, I think we're done with the deployment phase pretty much. I think I want to change maybe some things, but I think we're pretty much done with the deployment phase. I added a card preview. We talked about the fact that I needed like a scrollable card preview thing. I ended up doing this. Unclear whether I want to add like an like a window, like an interface window for it, or just have it like this. What I do need to do is I need to like mask out everything else so I can't like accidentally interact with the UI or something while I'm in this mode. But it's nice. It's definitely better than the endless line of cards we had. I hate that you can't actually customize the scroll container panel very easily. I mean, I know you can as a panel, but I would love to put in my own graphic here that like fit the rest of the UI, but I'm just gonna live with it for now. But yeah, this lets us like preview our deck and we can just bring it up or send it away. We can use it with the discard too. Oh, interesting. I was not expecting it to center. Huh. Wonder what happens if I put 5 cards in there. Wonder what that looks like. It's probably 1 on the left. Just play 1 card. Discard. Oh no, it's centered. Interesting. That's not what I expected, but that's cool. We'll need a slightly different interface for pickable card layouts. Like if I say like, oh, you can pick some number of cards here. But this should be good for like opening card packs and like looking at deck previews. I do need to have like a early out that's like if you click anywhere, it like closes that. I don't have that yet. Maybe we work on that. Something like that. And again, you're working on how you're rendering your characters in your game. Nice, nice. The ghost is nice. Can you have duplicates of units? I haven't written it to support duplicates of heroes because there won't be duplicates of heroes. There will be duplicates of enemies. Like, you might be up against, like, 3 skeleton warriors or whatever, right? So there's no real unique requirement for enemies, but heroes are required to be unique. So you can't play, like, another wizard once you've already played a wizard. The only thing you can do is play the wizard card atop the existing wizard to try to level that wizard up. So we added, like, an XP point. But yeah, I want to move beyond this deployment phase into like an acting phase so that we can start getting into players doing things. That's like super key. Hey, Arneo. And again, so you got one camera and sub viewport per character, rendering them to a quad with their normals, handling depth issues perfectly. Nice, nice, nice. You're dealing with some lighting stuff. Card preview looks good. Yeah, we'll do a mask. We may or may not. So the thing I don't really want to do about an overlay is because the card piles here that you can preview are some of the lowest in terms of UI hierarchy. Like, they're some of the lowest members in terms of the UI hierarchy, because otherwise, like, if I expanded a character sheet and like equipped an item or whatever, they need to be really low or all of this stuff would be rendered underneath them. And the card plugin is kind of wonky about how that works, so I've had to put them in their own layer. So it would be a little weird. I need to make a mask that excludes those so that you can still click on those, assuming I want you to be able to go back and forth. But I could also do another mask that's just like, oh, did you click anywhere? Close it. I guess that would be fine, probably. I could probably do that. Because, yeah, I don't like that it's just... there's nothing else. But, yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe what we'll do is we'll do the detector that's like, oh, I can tell if I've been clicked anywhere except on one of these cards. And if that happens, we can just close the preview. We'll need a slightly different version of this for card selection, but that'll be pretty easy. I think when I make people choose stuff, I'm only ever going to let you choose 3 things. 1 of 3 things, pretty much. Probably. So we'll have just a single row for... So this doesn't need to be interactable unless we do like a search your deck for a card. Draw that card. Like if they let you like look through your... If I let the player like look through the deck. I don't know if I will or not. We'll see. All right, take it easy, Nix. Yeah, try not to work too hard. Get some rest. Rip author, that's crazy. Didn't you update it recently? Hey, LSG with a 20 stream streak. Not bad. Whenever you create a new model, you add in a darkened background that will close the model when the user clicks on it. Plus the little X at the top right. Yeah, we don't have a little X. We might add something like that. I have to decide. I have to decide what I want for that. Scrollable containers are like really picky about things, but I think it'll be fine. I need to do things like disable the environment map UI or the environment map input processor while we have this mode up. I have all that for this screen. So this screen, you'll notice you can't click on anything. I might do if you click outside, you go back automatically. But yeah, this is like our "Are you sure you want to go?" screen. So we'll probably set something like this up. So I don't know. I wasn't going to do a mask because I wanted you to be able to unclick the preview box. But maybe, yeah, if we do it so that you click anywhere it does it, then that's fine. And then, yeah, maybe we add like an X button somewhere. It's not clear where such a button would fit, but maybe like here would be okay. Does clicking this close the character sheet? It does not. I guess that's okay. So yeah, we'll find somewhere where we can put the back button. That makes sense. We have a lot that we need to do in the next 4 weeks, though. Like, I wrote a short little to-do list, like a very short to-do list for what I'm calling the August-September sprint. I need combat turns, so we need to be able to generate an initiative order. We need to be able to execute character actions. We need to be able to display enemy intentions, and we need to be able to deploy reinforcements. Which actually isn't that bad. I'm sure I'm missing something else, but I think this pretty well captures what we really need to do. There's obviously the whole AI need to be able to move and act and stuff, but that shouldn't be that hard the way I'm writing the character move and act stuff. Determining and deploying enemy intention is going to be probably the most difficult single thing on here. Except maybe character actions or enemy intentions. I feel like I could spend a month on either of these things. So the fact that we have 4 weeks to do all of this, a little concerning. I also want to do encounter chains, which is just like you do an encounter, then you do another encounter, and then blah, blah, blah. With card drafting after each encounter, where it's like, oh, pick a card as your reward. I kind of want to add shopkeepers, like a shop screen that you can hit every some number of encounters so that you can like sell cards that you're not using or whatever. Maybe buy some new packs or something like that. And I also want controller support, specifically because of this playtest. I would like some people to test on the Steam Deck. But yeah, I made a very simple to-do list. We're not going to do anything like sound effects, audio, character selection, like initial character selection. There's no real point to doing that right now. We might add something eventually, which will be like a nice little like open your initial starter packs. Rather than making players draft at the beginning of the game, I might just have them pick characters and open starter packs. Which is nice. It adds a little bit of input randomness to each run. And then, yeah, the September to October sprint, this is going to be a similar, probably 4-weekish sprint. And this is going to be probably the sprint that leads up to our Steam page and our initial web build that I would like people to start playing in October. Pretty limited on time. After this, we're only going to have a couple more months before we need a demo. So, confidence is low, but we're going to start working on this stuff very soon. I think today I'm going to work on some more of that UI, just finishing up some UI stuff, and then hopefully getting a transition from the deployment screen, which is this like open movement thing into like to battle, where we can start a next battle scene, and then that's where we'll show off like our turn order stuff. I'm actually not sure how I'm going to deploy the turn order stuff. I might have characters that are about to go here, and then characters who have already gone here. Something like that. Could be fine. Have it be icons like this. I thought about doing like a initiative number next to these names, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to do that. Why would someone be critical about free stuff they get to improve the game? Yeah, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I actually read a pretty cool study on... There's a study these people did on how playtime relates to Steam review scores. Like how like the amount that someone plays correlates with what kind of a Steam review they leave. And it's really interesting because there's like 3 different groups. There's people that played for less than 2 hours, which are the people that qualify for like refunds, right? And so people that play for less than 2 hours and then leave a review generally leave negative reviews, which makes sense because these are people who probably decided they wanted a refund and stopped playing and wanted to, you know, make their make their opinion known. So that's the first group. That makes a lot of sense. Then there's a second group that plays for between I'd say 2 and 100 hours, I think is what they said. So people that played more than 2 but less than 100 hours. And these people leave generally positive reviews on Steam, which is nice. And then there's a third group who played for more than 100 hours and then leave a review. These are people who played for like, you know, a couple hundred hours or thousands of hours. And once again, we're back to mostly negative reviews. And there's something interesting there about player psychology and consumer psychology, where you could play something for 2,000 hours, which is the amount of time that someone generally works like a full-time job in the United States. It's about 2,000 hours a year. That's about how much someone spends working a full-time job. And they'll be like, can't recommend, not worth the price, which will be like, I don't know what the price is, but any price, if you got 2,000 hours of enjoyment out of it, is probably worth it. And it's just very funny. Just very funny. I know that Steam review is like the only way a lot of people have to like express their dissatisfaction with something. And the people that played a game for like, you know, hundreds or thousands of hours usually have strong opinions. But it's just very fun. There's something about it that's just uncanny. This trend of people playing something for 1,000 hours and then being like, I can't recommend buying this. The game really starts to fall apart after the first 1,000 hours. You wouldn't fit in any of those categories if you left a review on Factorio. I feel like you have more than 100 hours in Factorio. So you would be part of the third group. There's no upper limit to the third group. But it's interesting. LSG, forget the exact quote, but Northern Lion said something like, if we actually priced games based on the expected value, Slay the Spire would cost like $2,000. Yeah. Yeah, if you look at it just in terms of time spent, it's really fucked up. Like someone might go see The Odyssey in IMAX for like, maybe they spend like, I don't know how much an IMAX ticket is, but it's probably at least $30. $30, $40 or something. Most places. And then you buy some snacks. Let's say it's $30 and then you spend $20 on food, which is pretty realistic for going to a movie theater in the United States. So let's say you spend $50 to go see The Odyssey, which is really good. Everyone should go see it. It's really good. I don't know if you need to see it in IMAX, but you should at least see it in 70mm. So that's $50 for 3 hours of entertainment. And people will be like, man, The Odyssey is so good. And then you have like and then you'll try to sell someone like a 20-hour RPG for $5, and people will be like, I don't know if it was really worth the money. And it's like, what? 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 Yeah, there's something that's happened. And now Silksong is $20, so now we have that problem too. Sapphire, your Steam playtime for Factorio is only about 996 hours, but you leave a review, it'd be a positive one. $30 base game, then $30 DLC. Not sure your money's worth for 1,000 hours. I know, right? Not clear. Not clear. I get it. I actually have this. There's a joke among my friend group, which is like, the more hours Dave has in a game, the more likely he is to not like it. And that's very true. That's very true. Like, I think I'm about to crack 500 hours in Mechabellum, and I don't know if I would leave a positive review for Mechabellum, but I still play it, and I'm about to crack my 500-hour threshold with it. So I don't know. But I also don't like the direction they're taking the game, so I'm totally one of those people who could leave a review at 500 hours and be like, they could have done better. But I would never say it wasn't worth the money. I think I paid like $20 for that game at most. It's probably less than that. And I played 500 hours over, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years. Probably 3 years. It's pretty good. All right, so I should probably try to work on something. So let's just do some easy stuff. Let's put an overlay across the card preview. Let's do that. Why not? First, I guess the first thing we want to do is be able to detect any click. Well, I guess we need the mask to be able to detect any click. So what I kind of want to do, so I have this next turn screen that includes a mask. It's built into the mask. I kind of want to do something similar here. So what if I added a texture rect here? And I called it like the card preview screen. I call this the card scroll container. I might actually just call it a scroll container if it's going to be the child of this. Just have to change that here. So what would I have here? I could have a GUI input. I could have a GUI input. It's probably what I want to do. But let's give it a mask of some kind first. We'll use the full screen. What is this called? The full screen menu mask sprite? Yeah, that seems right. And we'll modulate it a little bit. Self-mod it down to 128. Arnio, games have a higher threshold for entry, though. A game dev is asking for the player to do chores. Odyssey, you can just sit back and watch. Yeah, I mean, there's an extent to that, which is true. I don't know if a game... I don't think a good game asks you to do chores, but I get what you mean. It's an active form of entertainment. It's not a passive form of entertainment. Obviously, there are games that ask you to do chores. Especially when you start talking about, like, free-to-play or, like, games that have, like, 24-hour real-time clocks or whatever. So far, you've actually given them more money as well. You got the game and the DLC. Oh, and you got it for your uncle and brother. Nice. LSG, you have 3 copies of Monster Hunter Rise. You justify because you have like 1,500 hours. Yeah, that's fair. No, I like it. I wish it was easier to give devs more money when you like what they're doing. It kind of sucks. Some devs, you know, they have like pay what you want on like itch or whatever, but yeah, in Steam that's not really an option. Like maybe they'll put up a DLC or a soundtrack or something you can buy, but yeah, it's really hard to give devs more money than whatever they're asking for. So we'll get rid of the scroll container and we'll put this in. Kind of weird the way I'm doing this, but it works kind of the way we're doing this. Should be all right. You're looking forward to grinding out all these armor sets for Wilds expansion? That's crazy. And there are games where you're actually doing chores. Yeah, like a Power Wash Simulator or something. A little to the left. Yeah, that's a good example. Video game chores are better because at least your back doesn't explode when you do those. Yeah, just wait until they add the haptic feedback that's like guaranteed to like blow out your back. Get a haptic gaming chair. Okay, well, I ruined the positioning here by parenting this, so that's neat. Let's see what's going on here. Layout. Full screen, correct. Scroll container. What happened to you? Anchor preset. I want this to be in the center. Essentially. Maybe center top. Yeah, let's do that. That's better. You find the optimal gaming posture for Steam Deck. Feel like your arms start to fall asleep after a while. Yeah, that kind of happens to me. Something like that happens to me, for sure. Okay, that's not exactly what I want. It's a little off. But it's maybe okay. I think I had it a little more to the left. Or the right. Had it a little off-centered. But it doesn't really need to be. I'll probably add like a go back button or something in the corner. I do want to allow for like you click anywhere and it closes. So let's try that. I think I'm going to add a GUI input signal. I'm going to add it to the preview hand. Kind of weird that I have the furthest child be the one that's controlling this like chain. But it's a weird but understandable setup here. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna ask some questions about the event. We're gonna say like if event is input event mouse button. Basically, if the event is an input event mouse button, we basically just want to untoggle this, so we can say on. How do we normally turn this off? Where do these signals go to? First UI layer, draw pile. Draw pile. On draw button toggled. Card pile preview toggled dot emit self toggled on. Okay. If I'm toggling it off, if not, cards dot is empty clear preview screen is visible is false. If toggled on, yeah, okay. So I can just pass in a null if I don't want to. I can just say null, and I can say false. This isn't exactly what we want. We could say elif. We could say elif input dot is action pressed. We could say is action just pressed, and we could say something like UI exit, UI cancel. Is that like what the typical? We could say that. Actually, we could say if input dot is event mouse button or input dot is action UI cancel. We don't have a lot of keyboard support in this game so far, but we could start working. Is it UI cancel or like UI exit? No, there's no UI exit. It's just UI cancel. Let's see how that works. Yeah, my partner has a Switch, and she prefers keeping the Joy-Cons separate. I left this on again. There we go. Somehow we have to unpress this. I'm not quite sure how. Oh. Okay, well, it correctly eats the input on the cards. What about this? Okay, it correctly eats that input as well. If I hit escape. Okay, escape doesn't do anything. I guess I don't have UI exit or UI cancel defined. I thought that was just a shorthand for escape. We'll just get rid of that. So we'll say if event is input event mouse button. And so it has to not be a scroll wheel. So I need to look at event mouse button. So is a scroll considered pressed? What's the wheel? I think it will return pressed. But let's find out. We'll say if event is input event mouse button and event dot pressed is pressed. Yeah. So we need something a little more specific. We can say if event dot button index is equal to, are these flags? Like, will I have more than one of these? No, they're not flags. Is, I can say is, I can say if it's less than 4 or greater than 7. Although wheel left and wheel right. Wheel up, wheel down. Yeah, I don't want the wheels. I don't want to accept any wheels for this. So we'll say less than 4 or greater than 7. Can I say or greater than 7? Does GDScript understand this? I don't think so. I wish it did. You like to make input actions called left click and right click and bind them to the mouse button so you don't need to futz with button masks. Because I know that we want to be able to support mouse and like controller and keyboard, I'm not bothering with setting up any kind of input mapping stuff yet. That'll need to be more purposeful. I like doing it this way because it lets me know that my solution is temporary. But yeah, that's a fine thing to do. I often do something like that. Just set up an initial set of inputs that I know I'm mapping. Okay, so scroll no longer does it. Only if I click a button. Okay, we also need to somehow be able to set press no signal this button. How are we going to manage that? I kind of need to save this card pile somewhere. Say variable preview file. Card pile to preview. Well, we're going to need to serialize this maybe. Well, maybe not. We can actually say if card pile to preview. We'll do this and we'll say set pressed Signal. How does the set press no signal thing do? It needs to work. Is this not a button? Card pile. Oh no, we need a button. Shit. I guess we're just gonna know what these buttons are. Is the way I'm gonna deal with this. I guess we're just gonna know. Put this under on ready. And we'll just set both of them. That's what we'll do. Here, what we can do is we can say we can have an else. Or we can say elif not toggled. Yeah, I don't like using the default input stuff very much. But there's some stuff where it's easier to just use the event, the input event. Like when you're doing like a GUI input callback. It's easier to just use the input event. Which is very different than the input action maps. It's kind of a bummer that if you want to use the input mapping stuff, you kind of have to use the input global, which is not set up with the same kind of fun signal-based callback stuff as like the input event pattern is. So it's kind of a bummer. It kind of forces you to write a process function if you want to use the input singleton. Okay, that's fine. The only thing we need to turn off is the map, the environment map. So we have this menu screen up bool. So we just need to set that when we do this then. We need to say this on card preview toggled, and we need to say menu manager dot menu screen up equals true. Actually, we want that to be down here. So here we can say, or maybe down at the bottom or something, doesn't really matter. And here we can do the false. Just had the idea to look back, try to find when you actually started working on Scrub Little Sub. Looks like it was 9 weeks ago. Makes the 3 months you have to get a demo out feel less daunting. Yeah. I think technically we started working on this on May 31st. To me, that makes it feel more daunting. So that means I've already done June, July, and like most of August. And this is all I've gotten done. Which is a lot, but it's not, you know, it's not a demo. This doesn't feel like I'm halfway to having a demo or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Arneo, your Git says your boat game is 2 months old. You don't even want to think about a timeline for the playable prototype yet? Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Rhiannon, you played around in like 5 different false start repos for Dungeon Chef multiple times. I think that's fine. I think that's better than trying to make it work, where you do one repo and you just like reboot it, but like you soft reboot it and you like leave. You like try to make it work out of the existing thing that you have. Okay, so what I have at the moment then is whenever I do a preview, it unselects the character. Although if it unselects the character, it should be clearing out this bound tiles display. And this. There should be a... Why doesn't that do what I expect it to do, you know? That's what I'm asking. Oh, because it doesn't actually go through that whole process. So what I would want to do, I think, in theory, so we can say unselect character fig. So is there a reason this doesn't clear like everything? I guess what we could do is we could say focused tiles dot clear. We could say cursored tiles dot clear. Is there a reason we don't want to just literally clear everything? I kind of want to just say, I have a function for this, don't I? Where is it? Clear all tile outlines. Cursored focused path line, press tiles, selected tiles, move line. I feel like that's what I want to do. Move path? Move path is new. Bound tiles. That's a little different. So let's say that, and then let's say clear all tile outlines. Move tiles, move lines. Shit, I don't know what that thing was called now. Move path. Oh, that's a vector. Okay, I do want to do that. That's just not part of the tile outlines. Let's say move path. Clear. I'm a little worried about the clear all tile outlines thing, but figure that out. All right, see you, Sapphire. Rhiannon, you started with pixel art, then low poly 3D, then low poly 3D with compute shaders, then like 2 different voxel starts. Yeah, I feel that. So if this is open and then I do this, is that fine? Okay, it resets all that stuff, which is good. Does this work with the other one? I assume it does. I'm not going to add a button yet. I'm just going to be happy with the input eating screen thing. And I kind of want to add that to this thing. Kind of want to add something similar. I'll use the same logic. LSG, you're reworking your whole equipment system now. Gonna have pretty big design implications. Should let you be a lot more deliberate with your level design, though. That sounds cool. That sounds cool. Okay, so now we can just click out of this. Oh, weird. This isn't considered a UI element? This, are you sure? That's weird. Why? Why is that not like eating the input? Is it set to pass or something? What if we set it to stop? Okay, there, now it's the behavior we want. Okay, that's reasonable. I like that. Arneo, you didn't know Scrub Little Sub had an equipment system? Can you equip something other than the harpoon? LSG says they're going to be power-ups you pick up in-game like Mario 64. So you can limit what tools the player has access to at any given time. That's cool. That's cool. You know, what kind of tools do you have in mind? I know you got your scrubber. Okay, you just said. You have a harpoon, you have a vacuum, and a magnet. Okay, so I guess you don't have a scrubber. Is that the vacuum's job at the moment? When does this become a power washing, an underwater power washing simulator? Scrubbing brush is planned. Nice, nice, nice. All right, so that's we're heading into our first set of ads here. Hold on to your ads. I need to pick something else to do. I mean, what I really need to do is kind of set up a structure for enemies and just put them on the board so that we can interact. But what I could do is I could just basically, quote unquote, take the safeties off and allow characters to hit other characters with their abilities. I'm not sure what to do about the turn order thing. I was gonna have that turn order at the top, but now we have our like end turn button there. So I'm unsure what to do about that. I mean, we could put the end turn button here. I don't really like that because it's going to get covered up a lot. But I'm going to look at it. We're going to look at it anyway. That was too low. Like here. It gets lost a little bit over here. Come on. Let me move the thing. There is room here because our party is limited to 4 characters. I was trying to keep one extra spot just in case we had like a 5th like NPC or something. Because I didn't really want to include those in the enemy roster. I'd kind of like to have the timeline be up here. I'm not sure. Oh, did I never update this? I never updated this. All right, we're back from ads. Welcome back. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry for the yawn. I'm very tired. My partner's been sick all week, and I haven't been feeling that exactly that same way very much, but I think I feel like a lot of lethargy. I usually don't get as sick as she does. I don't know why. Not like I get sick less often than her, just like I never seem to get that sick. Adding our little shadow here so everything looks the same. Yeah, we might move this end turn button down to the side like I showed. I'm tempted. Because then that frees up that top area for the turn sequence. Again. The turn timeline. There's just so much work that needs to be done. Does the end turn button have that already? I think so. Yeah. Subtle difference, but it's noticeable. I might set it apart a little bit instead of having it be cleanly in line. Because I don't love this. Yeah, I think what I would do is I would shove it over a little and shove it up so that it's like a little more prominent maybe. It's surprisingly hard to see what we're talking about here, because of the way this stuff doesn't really look normal until like you're playing the game. Like the letter highlights on the hovered state. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, maybe if I push this out a little more, it's a little more prominent. Something like that. It's not quite as prominent if you put it over here, but compared to if you put it up here. I wonder if I could do something kind of neat, like the way the card stacks work. I wonder if I could do a thing where I like, because what I want to do is have a turn timeline where it shows the characters and like the order in which they're gonna go. I want it to be very small, like basically like the size of this roster tab, but with all of these little icons in a row and like little arrows passing from one to the other. And so you can kind of see who's up next. Problem is, if we have this end turn battle and the button in this button in the middle here, is I could split the turn order thing into like two groups. I could have like here on the left, here are all the people who haven't gone yet, and I could put on the right here all the people who go after or who have already gone. But like that's going to be lopsided when we start. And if you wanted to actually go in and like scrub the list and like see exactly what the order was, that would be a little hard too. But maybe that's better than trying to squeeze this over here on the side. It's a lot less prominent over here. But it does free up a lot of the visual space up at the top here, which is neat. So I'm not sure. I think I'm going to go back to having it be at the top. Like this. Like we could have a little thing that says next, and it could be like the little icon of who goes next. And then if you click that, maybe it'll show you the whole turn order. Maybe there can be like a drop down thing and it'll show you the turn order. How many people max expected in the turn order list? Well, we can only really fit 5 on the party roster, realistically. Same with the enemy roster. So there can't really be more than 10 or so people in the roster at a time. Unless we make it scrollable, which we might eventually do. Especially with the enemy roster version. I might have to eventually make that scrollable. But yeah, less than a dozen, for sure. Probably 10, max. I feel like sometimes you will be interested in the order, like the overall order of like, oh, the bard is not going to go until after like everyone else goes or something like that. Like I feel like that's useful information. And so if I had just one turn timeline thing, like a turn timeline bar, it would be really easy to see. I feel like I mocked one up that I like didn't ever think to finish really. You can look at it. I don't remember where I put it. Oh, I didn't really mock it up. I did not. Yeah, maybe it doesn't make sense. Like visually it's quite nice. Maybe it doesn't make sense to have the turn button up here. Because the turn button up here, the turn button doesn't always matter. Like if you're watching the enemy take their turn, this button doesn't make any sense contextually. So maybe it does make sense to move it back. Where I had it. Like there. I could make it a little more prominent so that it fits this space a little better. And then I could disable it. I could like gray it out if you can't go. Like if you're watching an enemy turn play out. It could just gray out the end turn button. You're thinking left could show who is going now, always a group of your guys, and the right side could show who is coming after them, always a group of opponents. Oh, since when opponents go, you can't really do stuff, you assume? And that is correct. That is correct. It's a little tricky though, because what if there's like two enemies that go before your next guy goes? I guess maybe it could expand to show those two guys. I don't know. I thought like an interleaved turn timeline would make more sense. Let me see. Turn timeline. Turn-based RPGs. Let's see if I got some. I don't know what they always call this sort of thing. I feel like I did more research about this for our other game. Baldur's Gate has like a turn timeline, right? Turn order tracker. Oh, this is actually for like D&D, which actually looks sick. That's actually pretty sick. I can't remember the games that I was thinking of. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 has something like that, doesn't it? Baldur's Gate 3 turn order tracker. Yeah, they have like this thing. It's hard to get a high-res picture. Yeah, and like Baldur's Gate has like this thing at the top, which shows like everyone's order. Shows who's gone already. Shows who currently is going and who's going next. You know, it kind of makes sense to show it as one timeline, and then there's like maybe an arrow or something like this that moves across the timeline. So you can kind of tell if you're at the beginning of the turn or the end of the turn. And also because when we deploy a reinforcement, I feel like I remember this fight. When we deploy a reinforcement, those people get tacked on to the beginning of the turn order for the next turn. So it would be helpful to be able to see that, and to see that, like, okay, I've played another character. They're going to go at the beginning of the next turn. And then as characters die, you can like remove them from the timeline. It's reasonable. Seems reasonable. Yeah, I don't really want to stack. I've thought about that. It seemed like it could be okay, but I don't think we need it, considering the number of the max number of characters that could go. You think you save space at the cost of not showing all of the information? Yeah. Yeah, you mainly care about who goes next from an enemy standpoint. But that's going to be shown with the enemy intention system on the map. So you're going to be able to see what the next enemy is going to do. I think it makes sense to put like a turn order display on like a consistent, like, my concern about splitting the information into multiple places is that then it's on the player to like know how that's supposed to be combined. I don't really want them to have to figure that out. I don't love that you can't end the turn if you have someone selected, but there isn't really room to put this anywhere else. It's either up here or kind of nowhere. Unless I have like an end turn button here that's like an icon that like expands. I could do that. I could have a single arrow and you hover over the arrow and it becomes like this end turn button. And then you can at least access it even if the character sheet is open rather than here. I wonder if I would want to do that. I would need to stack the end turn button probably visually to make that work. Probably have it look like Make a new one that's like 80 by 60. Probably have it look something like this. Use a smaller version of the arrow, maybe. I guess I'd want it to be the full-size arrow. Actually, what we could do is we could kind of do it the way the undo redo buttons work right now. Which is like if you do something, doesn't really matter what. These buttons become active and they switch out. So I could have an arrow button here that expands out to end turn. I kind of like that because that doesn't hide here. But I probably wouldn't write this new version of the button. I would probably just need an icon for this part. Or more specifically, I would need another layer to this. What size is this? 34? Yeah. Actually, why am I copying this stuff over? Hey, Otagon. Thanks for the hydrate. How's it going? I saw the themes just got announced for Down to Jam. That's exciting. I'm sure you're busy. I mocked up some little volume icons. I don't know if I hate them or not. I kind of do, I think. You messed with the site visuals a bit. Nice, nice. Always love to see that. Everyone should be doing Down to Jam. Everyone should be down to jam. When's that coming up? September 11th through 14th. That's very exciting. I'm not logged in currently. Whoa. Extreme close up. Whoa. Must resist. Down to jam. Yeah, me too. I'm just so behind. I'm so behind on everything. Yeah, the site's looking great. I know Ludum Dare is not setting a high bar in terms of like what it takes to have a good looking jam website. But you're killing it. We're gonna try this. Let's see if I like this. Uh-oh. Raid alert. Hide the art. Ezra. Reading with a party of 27. I know, I would have said hide the code, but there was no code to hide at the moment. How's it going, Ezra? What are you up to? Welcome. We are working on our roguelike deck builder made in Godot. We're trying to finalize some UI stuff because I really need to move on to some other things. But we're making a little roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party and lead them through little dungeon, some dungeon crawling. The flip on the formula is that the cards are your party and all of their equipment and their abilities and stuff. And then the game is played out on a little turn-based tactics map that we're putting together. Hey, Dimitri. How's it going? What have you been up to? What have you been up to? There's Ezra. Looks lovely. Thank you. That's all. That's about all it does is look. We've been very UI forward in the development on this. We just added a little card preview using a simple scroll container. So we didn't have a good way to look through your whole deck. I'm kind of tempted now that I have this working this way. I'm kind of tempted to expand this out to be 5 cards wide. I had 3 cards, but 5 cards would probably be better. I think we could easily change that. Now that we've added more of an overlay. Let's try that. It should just work. We just need to reposition the scroll container. We'll still go center top, but I actually don't know what size this is supposed to be. So we'll just see. We'll see about repositioning this. You've been making a tutorial on your game for the past 5 months? Oh, ooh. Yeah, tutorialization is, I think, like the greatest struggle. Just getting it to such that people actually know what they're supposed to be doing, what they can do, and that's challenging. Okay, I can move this over a bit. I think 5 is good. Could we handle 6? It looks like we could maybe fit 6. But then I need to add some kind of button so that you know how to get back. I would probably want to add something at the top that's like card preview. Go back. I don't know. I kind of liked having just the 3 in the center. I just didn't like scrolling for 6,000 years. Let's try it with 6 cards. I like putting the number 6 pretty much everywhere I can in this game, so this is funny to me. From your suffering, you found UI to be the hardest part versus coding, so this is really impressive. Oh, don't be that impressed. Most of this is like hard-coded. Most of this is not what I would consider proper UI. But thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is probably better. So if you want to look at your deck, you probably want to look at all of it. But we need to add more of a margin, probably. I should probably just add in a margin container at the top. And then we could have probably room for like a back button or something. Dimitri. Oh, let me give you that shout out, Ezra. I don't know if you have to go, but appreciate you coming by here. Hopefully I can catch some of your stream sometime. Dimitri, it's going kind of mid for you. You expected to have a proper job offer at a company. Apparently the form you sent to them was lost. Ugh. That's rough. Too bad that you have to wait until Monday before HR people come back from the weekend break. I'm sorry. Hiring is so bad. I know a lot of people doing a lot of job hunting, and it's a really ruthless environment right now. Yeah, what we were doing just before this was we were trying to find a new place to put the end turn button. We had it at the top here. Right now it says to battle because we're in the deployment phase where you can like freely move your party around or play some cards before battle starts. But I think I want to move the button down here and do this kind of a thing where we have an icon that can switch to a button. I'm a little worried there isn't quite enough room, but we're going to try it. We're going to try it. If it's not too tight with the card hand here, we'll probably move the button here so that it doesn't get covered up when we bring up a character sheet. Yeah, go do your post-stream pass out. Thank you. Thank you for leaving the lurk. Thank you for the raid. Have a good weekend. All right, so what I want to probably do is I could either position this directly or I could add a margin container, which would be the correct thing to do. But how often are we doing the correct thing here? The answer is rarely. But we'll do it. We'll do it this time. I'll try to be better. I'm going to try to be better. We'll add left-right margins. We're not going to add top-bottom margins because I would like for the scroll to be kind of seamless. This is my jam. Oh. This is going to become a unique one. Dimitri, headhunting is what you would call it. Yeah. Headhunting is a word that we use here too, for finding that's usually for more targeted, like you're looking for someone really specific kind of thing, or like, yeah, we usually use that to refer to the agencies that like do that part, the like third-party agencies that like find a specific kind of person for a company. But yeah, headhunting is tough. Yeah, no, the hiring environment right now is really bad. It's really bad. I know a lot of people who are really struggling. I hope it works out. I hope you find something soon. So should I do like an HBox container that has a button, like a go back button? Probably. Oh, okay, this is almost. We could just have a back button, probably. It's probably what we could do. Try to tighten this margin a little bit more. Oops, not there. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. Hope you're having a happy Friday. Thank Godot that it's Friday. Also, Cake Hug, hi, I see you. I think you popped in just as a raid occurred, so I don't think I was able to say hi yet. But I appreciate you. Okay, this is too close. Let's widen that back out. Maybe we do something like... Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know. We'll probably just have UI back, exit you out. We might not actually need a button. This is reasonable. For now, I can just click out. It doesn't seem to work if I click in. So the scroll container itself seems to be eating the input, which is not exactly what I want. I thought it was the cards that were going to be eating the input, but it's the scroll container is. Maybe I can actually change that. If I set the scroll container to pass. Oh no, it is set to pass. Is the margin set to pass as well? Yeah. Huh. Oh, it's the card shape, the card container shape. So the space between the cards is also eating the input. That's okay. That's okay for now. I'll praise Godot. You're working late. You need to stop. You're closing work windows right now. Close them down. Shut them down, Rhiannon. Yeah, okay, I like this. I like the 6 cards a lot more. I think for card selection, I'll do the thing I was doing before where you just see the 3 in the middle. And you'll get to pick them, but that'll be a very different interface than just previewing a card deck. And then so if let's just say I went to the next turn and discarded my hand. And if I looked at this, yeah, you'd just get 6 cards at the top. That's easy. It would be cool if it was more centered at first and then expanded to fit, but that's like, I don't want to do that. This should be fine. We could do some interesting stuff with this. If I made this a little narrower, like 5 cards, we could probably have a UI on the side where it was like, you have X number of these cards or something. Have a bit more analysis, but maybe that's not necessary. Maybe that's not necessary. Dimitri, you really hope to get a job at a company where it won't take an eternity to get to the place? Oh, yeah. I'm mostly remote, but my company has made it very clear that we will be going back to the office as soon as they sort out some logistics stuff, and I am not looking forward to that because my current office is about an hour and a half away from me. And so right now I don't have to go in very much. I usually just go in every other week or something like that once, just to handle some stuff, check the mail, etc. But yeah, they're gonna want us to do. They're wanting us to go back. We've never done this before. They're wanting us to switch to 3 days a week, which is not a lot. I acknowledge that. There's a lot of people that have to work in office 5 days a week, but yeah, when you're looking at 3 hours of commute time a day, 3 days a week starts to feel like a lot, you know? So I get it. It's hard. It's a tough environment right now. All right, let's do this button thing now that we've done being distracted. Yeah, it is rough out there. There's a lot of pressure to just take whatever you can get, right? And that's rough. I know people are having to make a lot of compromises just to get something, just to get anything, you know. 204. We just need to make a version of this that's disabled, because there are going to be times where we disable the end turn button. I'm now realizing. Dimitri, at least you're not living in a big city. It doesn't take that long to drive from one part to another. That's good. That can help. That can help. That does mean there's probably less opportunities overall, which is tough, but yeah, it can be bad. Should be paid commute if working from home has been the norm. I agree. I agree with you, Mortis. Also, thank you. Thank you for hopping in the chat here. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a good Friday. Happy Friday. Thank Godot it's Friday. You got a nice weekend to look forward to. I know there are some people that work on the weekend. I try to be sensitive to that. I used to be one of you. A weekend worker. Not you as in you specifically, but you know what I mean. Obviously that's wishful thinking. I know, I've told them that. I'm like, so we haven't had there's to me, I'm like, commute time should be paid time, but obviously that's not how the law works in America. But that's really what it feels like it should, right? It really feels like it should. Like, it's time I don't get to spend doing anything else, you know? Alright, we're gonna need to update some sprites because I just broke a bunch of shit. We'll leave the game running while I'm doing that. People seem to like it more when I just kind of have this open. It does look good. It's been a good asset getting people interested. Make a pretty game. Forget gray boxing. Finish the UI before you make the game. Absolutely don't do that. It's a huge mistake. There's reasons why you might, but it's still a huge mistake. Oh, that's neat. You work construction? You do get weekends off? You took the next week off for brackies? Hell yeah, brackies coming around again. Nice. I've sworn off game jams while I work on this game, and it's really, I'm having a hard time. I would love to do a game jam, but I feel like I'm very behind on my work here. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling it. I'm feeling the game jam itch. Good luck. When's brackies start? Sunday. Grave digger. One day, 12 hours, 28 minutes. What's going on here? What's going on? What do they got going on? Love this. Love the no AI ban. Love that. That's cool. That's cool. I'll be interested to see what kind of stuff comes out of this. How many we got going? 16,000 join the Brackies Game Jam. Incredible. Brackies Jam number 2 for 2026. Game Jam. What a great image. The GameJamItch.io. Exactly, Atagon. It's hard to get back to game jams after you start working on a commercial release. Yeah, it feels like a bad use of time. But it's good to take breaks. I've definitely learned a lot more working on game jams than I have like working on like a dream game sort of thing. Like you learn different things, but there's something you learn from the cycle of making a game and putting it out and watching people play it. You can't simulate that. You can work on your own game for, you know, years, but you can't simulate that experience of like actually finishing something and putting it in players' hands. Ooh, what happened here? I'm getting some weird. Did I change the dimensions of this? I probably did. I need to move this equipment page up a little bit. Or maybe I'm okay with it. I don't love this. I don't love these like little yellow pixels on the edge there. I could... I actually don't know what I want to do about that. Oh, that's pretty low. I could actually probably extend it a little bit. That's reasonable. All right, we need to make a few more buttons here. We need to make menu button disabled icon. We also need menu button normal icon. Plus texture. Actually, can I just create it from this? I probably could. Hey, Mortis, thank you for the follow. Oh, as well, Dracomatic. Sorry I didn't see your follow notice earlier. LSG, you might do one jam next year as a treat. I think when I finish this and I'm like looking for my next project, I think I will do a lot of game jams. I think I will be very circumspect about starting another game that I haven't really tested. And making a jam game really forces you to like make something playable as soon as possible. Like I kind of engineered this game to be like a game with appeal that was like low scope that I thought I could make and make fun. But I think next time I would love to just start with an actual prototype that's playable and has mechanics, proven mechanics in it already. Hey, Beats. When will you release this game? Next year sometime. Next year. I'm hoping to have a demo out by the end of this year. And then we'll release it next year sometime. I can't be more specific. Probably late summer is what I'm looking at. But it's going to depend on what the reception is like. The reception of this will probably be very small, so I'm probably not going to hold my breath for anything. But we're doing our best. All right, so we're going to move this button. So this button, the to battle button, which is actually the end turn button, which will probably change back, is going to move down here, down to this little button row and become an icon. I'm a little concerned about making it too hard to find the end turn button, but you know what? We could do something where if you literally have run out of things to do, how did I move that? Maybe we can highlight it or expand it or add a second end turn button. You can do something to maybe encourage, make it easier to see. So this isn't a bad spot for an end turn button. But I want to see if I can add it as an icon and see if it works. How's it going? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Beats. All right, take it easy, Dimitri. You like the chill vibe of the stream? You might hop on in the future. No, I appreciate that. Sorry that time difference is so severe. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, once your game is released, you want to go crazy on jams? Yeah, same. If you want a wiki for the game, you can have one of your wiki hosts. Oh, thanks, Atagon. Save as. End turn button disabled. And then we will make another one of these. 0, 34, 96. Yes. Look at that. Look at the small number arithmetic. Oh, damn it. Rip. That's not what I wanted to do exactly. Save as, intern button disabled icon. And we need to change this one back. Intern button normal icon. All right, so let's take a look at this. So this we need to change. Okay, so there's no real scripting in here yet, so that's good. Add export variable end turn button disabled. Extra 2D. All right, so this is going to need some scripting like the way the undo and redo buttons have. Just super simple stuff. We need to change the custom minimum size. We need to connect some signals. We need to connect the signals manually. Seems like the best way to do it. Like in code. We need to connect up to the turn manager. That's doable. I'm just going to copy this over. Yeah, sorry about that, Dimitri. I hope you have a good weekend. All right, Mortis. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Appreciate you. We will be on tomorrow. I want to check in again. Hang out with us. Turn manager is not an auto load. I have some regret about this, about making this not an auto load. That's fine. So we don't need to do this part then. We can just do this here. We can just reconnect this signal then. Yeah. We just need to hook up the on mouse entered functions here. Okay. Whoa. So that's not how that should work. Maybe what I need to do is I need to update the size here. Yeah. Reset that. Let's put this in line. I should really just have like a VBox or something managing this thing's position instead of just doing this myself here. It's all right. So how many spaces is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Hopefully that's obvious enough. Oh, this needs to... We need to change its position somehow. That's probably going to be our... Probably do an onReady variable. Like at ready variable start position vector to I equals position. And so what we need to do, so we need to change the custom. So wait, why is that what's happening? This is probably why I want an HBox container. Or VBox container, excuse me. It's behaving a little weirdly compared to the other two. So when the other two... Like when the other button becomes engaged here. Also, yeah, so when this one gets sized up, it doesn't reposition itself, but this one does, which is kind of weird. It's also not looking good in terms of like how the positioning is going to be for this. It's going to take up way too much of the screen. Again, we could do something like taller. Like we could do a 2-line thing. I don't really want to do that. I don't totally understand why it's behaving the way it is in terms of positioning. Kind of curious. So this is anchored to the top left. This is anchored to the center top, which is strange. Does that maybe have something to do with it? Probably just going to put it back where it was before, like here. Also, these are named opposite what they're supposed to be named. Hey, clean Torstall. Hey, you're sure, I get this question a lot. You're used to, okay, so you're sure that I get this question a lot. You used to be able to code at an intermediate level, but now with your agents, you're becoming very inefficient in writing code yourself. I assume this is at like your day job. That's rough. I know some people that have reacted to that by just becoming even more manual with their stuff they do on their own, like their game dev and stuff. I don't know if there's much you can do in terms of work, fixing that stuff at work, but yeah, I don't know. I'm tempted to become more of a Luddite myself. Do things very manually, because I feel it. I feel it. I don't use AI assisted anything. I'm also not very good at coding, so I can't say that I've, suffered much, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough there. I know a lot of people who are basically forced to work like that. And they can feel the skill degradation. That's tough. How is this still wrong? Oh, did I hit undo a bunch of times? I'm so confused about what's going on right now. 6. I swear I just fixed this. Also, we're heading into ads, so hold on to your ads. Sorry about that. Thanks for popping in, by the way. Clean. LSG, yeah, you have to use it at work. So you don't use any AI for personal stuff. So keeps your shield scar sharp. Yeah, I've seen some argument for certain areas that does seem to be useful. Like if I think I was doing a tremendous amount of testing, like skill combinations or like different, like more RPG heavy things, I would maybe be tempted to do more. Or do some amount of automated testing, but since I don't, I am not. But yeah, it's tough. It's a tough world. Okay, I like this. I like having the button aligned with the roster tabs. It does help it stand out a little more. I feel like I could maybe futz with the dimensions a little. But yeah, I think it makes sense to put end turn over here. It really just wasn't going to fit in this little box. I was hoping it would, but it's not. It's just not going to. Expand this button list. But yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to keep your skills sharp except by just practicing. And you know, that's the insidious part about AI code assistance, right? That's the whole insidious part about all this, is it's convenient, right? And convenience is tough to get around. Like people talk about like the microwave generation, which is that's very old and obsolete by this point as a term, because that's an old term. But it's like there is a certain extent that convenience rewires your behavior and your very brain. Because people, there's like this is like useful to know from like a game dev standpoint too, right? Which is that like human behavior is controlled by incentives. And like you can think that you know, you're smarter than all that, and you can like consciously choose to behave other than what the incentives tell you. But no one really can. Nobody can really resist the incentives. It's really hard. It's really, really hard to resist incentive structures. And convenience is a powerful incentive. A truly powerful incentive. All right. I don't know if I love the end turn button thing on the side, but we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it for now. We're going to try to keep the top here free for an eventual turn timeline UI. Diddle-doo. You've been very engaged in chat today. You've been locked in with your character stuff. You're happy with where it's at. Oh, you're happy with where the chat's at? No. Just kidding. Arnia, you've been making an anchor for your boat game. That sounds cool. It's tough. It's tough. I'll read like the Gemini chat responses now. I used to like straight up ignore them, but they're so convenient. They're usually wrong. They're usually dead wrong about everything. But like they're so convenient because they're just there and they're above the search results that I catch myself reading it. And I'll usually click on the link that they refer to like try to actually figure out what they're talking about. But like they've kind of forced you into a position where like you have to use AI assisted search. Like you can't not. Like they'd already ruined search to such an extent that it would be hard to avoid. So I don't love this. We hide the end turn button with the character sheet. Like Rihanna and the Mighty Wizard. Their character sheet is like blocking the end turn button. But I feel like if you have your character sheet open, you're like looking at stuff and you're like thinking about doing things. You've got a character selected usually. It's probably fine. It's also really the only part of the UI area that like is free. I should double check that these two things are actually in line. I don't know how, but I probably should. They're pretty close though, so maybe I'm fine with it. It's hard to test that stuff. So I don't know. I guess let's look at what a turn timeline would be like in the game. Let's figure out how we're gonna build it. I'll probably build it the way I build the expanding party roster. I know I could use a 9-box. I know I could use a 9-box thing. Like a 9 rect. I don't know what they call it. And I know I could be doing that for a lot of my stuff here. I don't. I hand build a lot of this. Nine patch, that's it. All right, take it easy, Arnio. All right, Nanigans, you're gonna hop off. Prep for some D&D. Sounds good. OSG, you use Coggy search, which doesn't have AI assisted search by default. Yeah, it's tough. Every like alternative web browser search experience I've heard is pretty rough. Like I know a lot of people who like are not happy with like DuckDuckGo, for example, for like their search. Okay, I like the ghost. I think I need to make the ghost more ghostly, but maybe not. I have some concerns about how this reads in a bright room. I originally had I had to actually lighten all of these plants in the background because they were so dark that if you were in a room with a bright light, you actually couldn't see them on the screen. So I'm like very sensitive to that now. Why does that look like this here? Oh, something is weird. I think I'm gonna move the equipment page up 1 pixel here. That seems like a small change, but I'm gonna do it. This doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but it's paid. Ooh, okay. Okay, yeah, that's a lot better. I didn't want to see the little light, little bits of the text. Yeah, what we really need to be working on is our item tags for like weapons. So I need to be able to describe this equipment with taglines, with like tags. So like a crook could be like two-handed reach, so that it like it can attack people like one tile away or something like that. Things like that. Bludgeoning. I need to put these descriptions. And then weirdly enough, this description thing almost needs to be like a scroll container. Kinda. It really does. Because we're going to probably have tags that are longer than this, so I think I need to add that. I need to add something like that. We can scroll through these. And then what we can do is, you know, when we're in a turn, we can equip, we can turn on our item here, and we can be switched into, like, action mode out of move mode. Because I think what we've decided is that when you select a character, they'll be in move mode by default. I'm a little concerned about default attacks. So, like, what if you didn't have a weapon and you wanted to attack? I feel like you should be able to. We could also use some buttons under action and move to trigger that. I don't really want to do that. I might just make it that you can't attack if you don't have a weapon equipped. That would be good, because that would force you to be like, all right, let me just equip anything. That would force you to make some tough decisions. Like, you might be like, okay, I'm going to equip this. Yeah, I'm going to equip this shitty crook because it's, like, not a good weapon, but it, like, at least lets me do something. I want to see decision making like that. I want to see people making mental trade-offs. Thinking about those things. But yeah, I think I'm okay with this new position for the end turn button. It fits a pretty reasonable space that we had. It does mean we're now hard locked to no more than 4 characters in the roster. Which is okay. Which is okay. I've kind of gone back and forth on whether I want you to be able to draft more than your starting 4 characters. Like, if you start unlocking more characters, can you draft? Will the game show you cards for, like, additional characters? And I want it to an extent, but I also don't, because I feel like that just makes the game harder. Because it means you're less likely to get cards for the characters that you actually need. And that just means the game gets harder the further you play, because you unlock more characters, and that seems like a shitty way to make the game harder. So I think I still do want you to be like, pick your starting characters, and then you'll get, like, starter card packs for each character. You can open your starter card packs, rather than you having to draft your initial set of characters and, like, draft your initial equipment. I think opening starter packs and then, like, booster packs later on. I think we'll have starter packs and booster packs. And so maybe after, like, a major boss battle or something, you can pick a booster pack, which will have, like, a bunch of stuff for a character. Or something. We could also have, like, rarity be a little more of a thing with the booster pack. Like, maybe booster packs are more likely to have rare cards than just them coming up on the, like, you pick 1 out of 3 kind of typical end of an encounter kind of thing. I think that's reasonable. Yeah, I want to look at a turn timeline. So we can kind of do it like the way we've got our roster here. So, like, our roster is kind of baked in, right? Like, I have a version when you have nothing in the roster, and then I have 1 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually go up to 6 because originally we could fit 6, but now we can't. So I think I'll do something like this, but with the timeline, with, like, the descended timeline. So let's start with, like, and I think I'll make a version that's on hover that expands so you can kind of see a little more information. But we'll mock something up here real quick. size, I actually don't know what the size is going to be. Excuse me. Let's make the size large. Actually, I guess I could figure out what the size is. Because it's kind of based on the max size of the environment map, which is 16 by 11. So if we provide a bit of a buffer, let's say we could probably say 16 by 8 is probably more reasonable for the maximum length version of this. 128, that seems like a reasonable start. 128. And then I don't know how long this is supposed to be, but it doesn't really matter. Start with 128. So we'll grab one of those roster tab sized things and we'll just recolor it. I was considering sizing up the roster tabs, but clearly that's not going to happen now. What size are these? 34? Oh, this is bigger than 128. I guess we'll size this up to 130. Put this back. What have I done to my... Where's the... Oh, it's not full screen. I was like, where's my tool tab? It's like, what have I done? UI. Call this turn tracker, turn order tracker. Sprite Atlas. Let's get the right color firstly. Good start. And then so what we're going to have here is a lot of these little icon spots. So we can have a couple layers. We can have like an arrows layer, icons layer. So we'll put this in the icons layer. So what we'll do is we'll have a thing where it's like, it'll look kind of like this. I guess the icons are going to be dynamic, because we probably want to show what level they're being referred to. We also probably want, if you like click on this, it like opens the character associated with it. So it'd be like, we'd have an icon, then let's get some, I'll make a fill layer just so we can look at stuff. I'll just call it portrait layer. Just so we can look at some things. We'll add these little guys to the background. I'll just grab a bunch of these. This guy will be like here. And then we'll have some arrows. I have an arrow that I don't know if I want to use, but I'm going to look at it because it's the one that I have. It's from the party button screen. Party roster button. These little guys. This is kind of weird. This is kind of different than the button. My buttons look everywhere else. Everywhere else they're like this, or the arrows. Everywhere else the arrows are like that. That's probably better than the weird chonky thing that I've got here. This kind of looks more like a dreidel. I don't know. I actually don't know which I prefer. What's the size of these relatively? 9? Yeah, okay. If it's 9, then I'll probably go down. Probably reduce that. Probably go back to like this. Probably better. This is 8. This is 6. Hope everyone's having a happy Friday. I'm going to take it easy this weekend. Weekends are for rest and recuperation. All the good stuff. I know I have to tell myself that all the time. I'm usually just working on the weekend. We'll use this. And then we'll grab these little arrows and we'll use these. Use these arrows in our little turn order thing. We'll just flip them around. So it would look like, it'd go like the, oh, I guess I need to recolor the shadow then. Why am I scrolling for this? I really need to make a palette of the colors that I use. I haven't really done that. It's lazy. Laziness on my part. Yeah, we'll probably have stuff like this, where it'll be like icon, arrow, icon, arrow. You need to redo your trailer this weekend now that you refactored the equipment system. I'm hoping it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I would want to not do that all the time. Like, I have to re-edit my trailer every time I added something to the game, but I know this is probably a pretty significant change and you want it reflected in the trailer. That makes sense. But yeah, it'll be like this guy and then like the next guy. You know. We'd have someone else in here. Grab someone who looks menacing. So I want this turn order thing kind of like this. This guy looks weird and like off center. I kind of don't like where this sprite is. I don't want to move this like that. It's better. As everyone else. I think everyone else is okay. Yeah, something like this is what I'm looking at, I think, for the turn timeline. And then we can have an on hover version that shows you a little bit more info. The character icons look awesome. Did you make all those yourself? Absolutely not. I've kind of done the UI myself, but the sprites are from a pack, an asset pack called Pixel-like 2. They're very good. We're using those. We're making a little card, a roguelike deck builder kind of card game. But yeah, I'm a solo dev, so I'm trying to minimize the amount of work that I have to do. So we're using this pack. We've kind of built our whole UI look around them. I made the cards, I guess. I like my cards. But yeah, welcome in. Happy Friday. Yeah, we're trying to wrap up some UI stuff so we can get a little bit more into the gameplay. We're working on a turn timeline so that you can track who's up next. Using these little turn icons, we're going to have that show up. So I guess it's more like 256. It's more what we're looking at in terms of maybe the maximum size of this turn timeline. I guess that's what I want to look at, because we decided we need room for... I guess technically we need room for 9 enemies. So this can fit 4. The enemy roster can fit more because it doesn't have one of these buttons, but it does have a card underneath. So yeah, I think we can do 5. So what we should do is we should find space for... We should see how much we need space for to fit 9 of these. I think I can size this up to 256. Let's just hope. Let's just hope that's enough. I don't think I have more room than that. We could do a little bit of stacking. We could do a little bit of stacking if we had to. I want to have some way of calling out who is next. Like we'll probably make these buttons and make them selectable and have the current turn person pressed. Probably what we'll do. You love the UI? Thank you. Thank you, Vidi Moscar. Yeah, we've spent a lot of time. We've had a very UI-forward development. I've never made a card game before, so I kind of wanted to do that. But it means the thing we don't have is like any kind of turn-based battle system. So the kind of the trick of this game is that it's a roguelike deck builder, but your deck is your party. The cards are like the nouns. The cards are like the weapons, the armor, the abilities, and the heroes themselves. So you level up by, so these are all like level 1 cards. So you play duplicates to level up and thin your deck. So I have like one level 1 ranger in play, and I have another ranger card here. So I could play this card. It'll give me more XP. It'll give me a level. So Rianne and the ranger here will go from level 1 to level 2. They get a new card back for that color. And the same thing applies to like weapons. So we could try to play some weapons. So you can have a glaive, level up this wizard, give a shield to the knight. So you have equipment that you can put on. That'll be like how you get your abilities or your actions that you can take. We haven't totally, the next real big step we have in this game is like combat. Combat is the thing we've like not really done yet. And I'm afraid. So we'll give a splintered loot to our bard, Sapphire the Bard here. Arrow, we'll just discard the arrow. We have a whole undo redo stack, so you can like freely play and redo and undo within a given turn as much as you like. Give them an axe, I guess. Oh, this is a shillelagh. I wanted the crook. So yeah, you have a pretty big deck when you start. I wanted to level up some stuff some more. I'm not really getting the cards I want. Cool concept. Oh, thank you. Appreciate the follow. Yeah, we have up to 6 levels. And so it's going to be kind of this dungeon crawling game. It's gonna be a pretty brutal roguelike, I'm hoping. Which is why it's called Party Wipe. The expectation is characters will die. And so you're trying to make the strategic choices of like power up and level up. Oh, is this Bard the Bard? How did that happen? Knight the Knight. Wizard the Wizard. Oh, Ranger the Ranger. Are we... What is going on there? We have a level up bug. I think I know what's going on there, but we're gonna go find out. Do you not know your name? That's probably the thing. So we add a character card, move to level up character. Character res equals new card.card data. Update display. Update display is probably where this problem is happening. Maybe not. Maybe it's deserialization. Probably not saving their name correctly. We have a random set of names we like to apply. New card, character pile, create card, update display. So after we do that, we save. Oh, we level up and we update display. We update display twice. That's maybe a little silly. Actually, that makes sense. Why we do that. It's still wrong, but I think we can make it work. There's probably load from res somewhere here. Load card, load from card. Character class.text equals character res.card name. Character name.text equals new name. New name. That needs to be like custom name or something. We have character name, which is a label. We have character class, which is a label. I think it's because what we used to call character name, we now call character class. And I think we're accidentally applying the character class to the character name because that used to be how we talked about it. And I'm just not quite sure where that is. It's probably in deserialize. No, maybe not. Huh. I'll have to figure out where that's happening. Character name.text equals new name. Yeah, this is exactly... Well, load from card. New name. The card doesn't actually contain the name. What if I just took this out? Someone's gonna error. That's okay. Character name. Character name.string. Character name equals character names.pick random. Load from card. Character name. No, so this is right. We should be doing this here. Are we loading from card when we deserialize? Because that could be it. Let's see where. Let's see everywhere we invoke this. There's 3 places. Here's one. That's just for the new page, though. That's not what we're looking for. Oh, this might be it. Add equip card. Nope, that's also not what we're looking for. Okay, we only do that on initialization. So where are we doing this? I guess what we want to do is we want to find all the invocations of character name. Somewhere in there we're doing this wrong. Character name. Character name.text. Okay. Reload character sheet. Here we go. That's it. Where do we do this? Reload character sheet. We don't do this anywhere. Someone else must be calling this. Let's say character class. Maybe that fixes it. So yeah, right now this is Sapphire the Wizard, Rhiannon the Ranger, Nyx the Knight, and Reginald the Bard. And so if I played the Knight card, are they still called Nyx? Yes. If I undo and then redo, are they still called Nyx? Yes. Okay, so I think they've fixed that. I think there's someone trying to reload the card, probably when on a level up or something, or an undo redo, maybe. It's probably undo redo. Thought I exported this file. Oh, I didn't actually change this somehow. That's weird. Oh, I didn't change this one specifically. Okay, I like the little arrows. So, we go here and we grab our timeline, little experimental timeline thing. Let's see how much room we have. If we have room for all 9 characters, that's great. Then we don't even have to really worry about anything. We can just stretch this out to fit the 9 characters. So how much space should be here? This is 16. That feels like a lot. But it's because we fit this little arrow in between. 4. And also 4. We could move this over by 1. Like that. Looks a little tight. We'll separate it just in case. Hey, no Jewel. Thanks for the hydrate. How's it going? Character looks so squat. Put him next to the bard. All right, let's continue this pattern then. Let's see what we can fit here. I don't think it's going to be 10, so we're going to need to do some kind of squishing or stacking or some kind of scrollable thing. I mean, maybe we also have more room than this. Maybe this is not the limit. What is this? This is 7. So we would need room for 2 more. You're preparing for Gamescom starting Monday? Oh, shit. Okay. So I kind of want to use from here. Basically from here to here. That's like the max I want this timeline to be. And what is that in terms of spacing? That's cool. You demoing anything, or are you just there to enjoy the show? All right, so how many tiles do we have for that? 8? 9? It's 9 times 16. 144. Oh, but it's 2x. It's 2x. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So we have about 288. 288. That's kind of our max. So let's size this up from 256 to 288 and see what that gets us. If that gets us room for 2 more, then we're done and we don't even have to think about it. It looks like 8. It looks like 8 is what it's going to get us. And can we make that work? Probably. We can probably shorten this a little. Probably tighten this up. think that's going to make a meaningful difference, but we're going to try. Can I move this over at all? I don't feel like it. Maybe I can. We're going to try to use the whole buffalo here. Yeah, I can move this to here. See if we can make room for one more icon, because if we can, then I don't need to do anything fancy. And I would love to not have to do anything fancy for this. I am like the antithesis of a fancy man. That's not obvious. All right, let's try that again. So with this relationship between the icons, how much can we fit? 1. So we got 4, 5, 6. It's not looking good. You know what we can probably do is compress all of them that aren't like what we could probably do is only have 2 sets of arrows. Maybe we just have 2 sets of arrows. Maybe we even have like 1 set of like inactive arrows. Like maybe the arrow for the past looks like this. Like this represents all the characters that have already gone. And then we could have the active arrow onto like who's next or something. I don't know if I love that, but we could do something. We could do something. We could even, what we could do is we could start to stack and overlay the ones that have already gone. Like we could overlay them a bit. I don't know how much, because you'd probably still want some recognizability, but we could do something. We could even just pack them in close so they don't have the arrow. Let's try that real quick. Something like that. Because then the arrow could move across the timeline, probably. And so you have who's up currently and then who's up next. Probably do something like that. So I'll just move that somewhere arbitrarily. That's somewhere in the middle. No, Joel, you're networking mostly. You're not ready to show much. You do want to prepare some images, videos to show about your game. Mostly you want to get some people to hire you as a freelancer. That should be easy. You're like a Godot luminary. Fresh off the GodotCon circuit. Who wouldn't want to hire you? Not sure if it'll be worth it, but it's a good experience when you potentially showcase your game there next year. Yeah, I have not been doing a lot of events this year, and I know I'm gonna have to make up for that next year, and I also know it is going to be expensive. Expensive. I'm probably not gonna get to go to Europe for any of these, but I need to do some of the more North American circuit ones. Like I'll need to hit up a PAX or something like that. So I'm going to move this out of the way so that we have the 1 arrow. So we'll just say, like, let's say it's the first turn. Let's say it's the first turn of a round of combat. Maybe it looks like this. It needs to be over a little. Maybe the arrow moves across these, right? And the rest are just in a line. How many is this? 7 total. We need enough room for 9, I think I said. I think we can do it. I might use some text to like make it more clear what the relationship is here, but we could also probably grayscale something out or like low light it or something, or mask it, or do something to show that they've already gone. But yeah, look, we've got room. We've pretty much got room. We're not even using the whole buffalo here. think that could be reasonable. And then you would interleave it with like friendlies and enemies. So we'd grab some like enemies. Doesn't really matter what enemies. PAX West isn't far. That's true, Jacob. That's true. It's hard to get tickets for PAX West. Oh, did I not flip these? I have not. I've not flipped these yet. So I'm just gonna grab a bunch of these randomly. Rather randomly, and just put them in the timeline. Just to show what the timeline will look like. What we're thinking. I like this basic conceit that player characters face right and all of the enemies face left. It's like a really easy recognition thing. And there might be more than one enemy that goes before your next character goes. I might have like some little dots or something. Spread the spacing out a little bit better. We're just gonna grab some random stuff. Cute sprite. Something like this, you know. So have a thing. Have some kind of turn timeline thing. I don't have the details. Now it doesn't really sell out. Now it's not still sold out. Oh, my info is old. My info is like probably pre-pandemic. You used to have wait in the queue and they'd sell out in minutes. Oh, that's great. You want to let people play your demo at Godot Fest in November? You can do that there without paying extra. Yeah. That sounds good. Do you modify some of the colors on the sprites yourself? I added a... Not really. What I did is I added a light mask to a lot of them, which just kind of changes the colors slightly. And it changes them more in certain cases than others. Like there's a light mask on the environment, on like the plants and stuff. That's a lot stronger because I found that the backgrounds were so dark that you couldn't see them in bright environments. So I'm doing some lighting changes, so like just brightening the whole thing or not. But no, I haven't individually. If anything, I've actually drawn from most of the colors that I use in the UI are actually drawn from different sprites. From the different sprites. Did I moved one of these guys, didn't I? Yeah, there. That's fine. But yeah, maybe I go next year. I think I'm going to try to hit a lot. I think I'm going to try to hit a lot of events. I think I'm going to be very tired. But yeah, I think I'll hit a PAX. I'll hit at least one PAX. I would really love if GodotCon North America next year could be like the same week as PAX East, like it was a year ago. That would be excellent. I would love to just go to Boston for like a week and like hit PAX, hit GodotCon, do like the Boston Game Dev Week. I wish I'd done that in 2025. I could only afford to go to GodotCon. But yeah, I clearly need to save up some money for some conventions. And I do need to be showing games at these. Okay, so we have these. I kind of think I want some kind of like little dot or something to separate these. I think I want something. I don't know what though, but I think I want something. Even if it's something so simple as just like a little square or something. I could also do the arrow without the shaft. And then that way we could be a lot closer. But I think my point holds that I actually don't think I need arrows between every single one of these. If anything, we could just have like something like this. A little pellet, you know, a little like Pac-Man pellet. I think we could do that. I think that'd be all right. I'll move this down to the end here. But yeah, I plan on doing a lot of events. Luckily, they made GDC cheaper, the Game Developers Conference, so I think I will go to that next year. That's in my home. That's in my town here, though. I don't have to travel for that one. So, kind of lazy that I didn't go anyway. This is wrong. This is too tight. I guess I should see if there's room. Oh, maybe it's okay because they're just little pellets. Maybe they can be close in. I know this is a stupid way to do this. Don't judge me. Just seeing if I have room. I don't know if the answer is yes. Hey, Blue House, how's it going? Happy Friday. About overlapping arrows. How so? Can you join some groups to make it cheaper to get share booths at events? Yes, you can. It depends. But historically, that's been true. I don't know which groups are still active. Like, back in the day, you could join, like, the Indie Mega Booth. Or more specifically, you could apply to be part of the Indie Mega Booth. I don't know if the Indie Mega Booth is still a thing. I think it is, but I don't know if they necessarily do it the same way that they used to. But yeah, there's also some, like, there's a local dev collective that I'm part of that teams up together to put on, like, booth tables at, like, super local events, and that's probably where I'll start. Like, really local events, like small events in, like, my local area here. Probably get started with that. Okay, it looks like we have plenty of room, so that's good. I think I could move things over even more a little bit. It's kind of tedious. I don't necessarily want to do that, but... What do you mean the overlapping arrow? I'm trying to understand what that would look like. Oh, you mean like maybe overlapping with the icon or the portrait, like it goes over. Well, this goes under, but I think I maybe know what you mean. Where I like draw it over so that there's a bit of overlap. That's reasonable, actually. I actually think I just don't want that many arrows. But we could still do something so that we didn't have to reposition these all the time, maybe. We do have room. We have room. I don't necessarily feel like I need to use all of the room, but we could. We totally could, and nobody could stop us. Let's check to see how much room there's left. There's 27 pixels. You subtract 3 or 4 from that, it's 24. Okay, it looks like we could make a little bit more room here. I think I'll do that. I think I'll finish adjusting this, and then we'll probably find someone to read out to. Hang out. This has been an alright. It's been an alright Friday. I'm tired. Hi, tired. I'm Dave. But we will be doing this again tomorrow, as usual. You'd go to some US events on the slim chance that you get a lot of wish lists and your game demo blows up. It can happen. It can happen. Seems unlikely, but you know, never say never. You could also get detained. Just rough. It's a rough time to be wanting to travel internationally to the United States. I don't begrudge anyone who is like, I'm not touching that. I wouldn't mind a GodotCon Vancouver. That'd be cool. All right, what kind of space do we have here? There's 12 pixels here. I think there's 6 pixels on the other side. Maybe I just move over a little bit. 4. 18. So we do 8. Uh-oh. Trevoron. Raid alert. How's it going, Trevoron? Hide the code. Hide the art. Let's look at the game. How's it going? How's the stream? Happy Friday. Thank Godot, it's Friday. This is Digital Iliad. We are working on a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party and dungeon, do some dungeoning, delve, some serious delving. We're doing some UI stuff. We want to make a little turn timeline. Looking good. It's looking. It's I've put the vast majority of my effort into the UI. The vast majority. We're making a little turn timeline thing. I think I'm almost done with it. At least the mock-up. I'm going to do these little Pac-Man pellets. And so I think what's going to happen is this arrow will traverse across. The only real question is, do I want to leave enough space for the arrow, or do I want to actually move the tiles? But if we put it in an HBox container or something, they'd all shift around automatically, so that's maybe fine. And then so this arrow will traverse across the timeline each turn. And then maybe we do a thing like we darken everyone who's already gone. So we have like both. We could even do a different color for like the pellets that have already gone. Like we could do We could do all our alternative coloring like this. We could do the purple coloring for the past. That seems reasonable. Yeah, this is a turn-based game, so there's going to be, like, you'll roll initiative sort of deal. Something like this. Something like this looks fine as a concept. This is as big as it would ever get. I could even put something at the end that's like a wraparound arrow. It's kind of like our undo arrow or something. And it shows that you go back to the beginning or something. Something like that. Maybe not. You know, Joel, you're also thinking instead of putting so much time in those events, you could just make some social media posts, potentially reach more people, have more time to work on the games, better results in terms of success for the game. That's my plan. I plan on doing a lot of YouTube shorts. I think that's really the only thing I'm going to have time and accessibility for. I already have a small following on YouTube. Very small, but I appreciate you all for being here. But yeah, I'm hoping to do a lot of YouTube stuff once we've got actions going around. I don't know how good this game is going to look on YouTube in terms of the shorts, but it's a pretty low resolution, so hopefully it'll be easy to like show some part of the action, and it'll look good enough on a phone. Change the border color to tell if it's an enemy or your unit. Good idea. No, Joel, that's actually not a bad idea. That's actually pretty good. We don't really have colors for your units versus the enemy, but maybe we should. Maybe we should. I have the brown in here just because this is the level icon. So this is the icon for like level 1. So I was going to use the color for their level, but you know, there is a visual shorthand, so it's pretty easy to tell the difference between your character and an enemy character, which is that player characters look to the right and enemy characters look to the left. They're also usually skeletons. Or skeleton adjacent. So maybe that's okay. Maybe that's enough recognition that you can tell at a glance. But I'm open to trying some stuff. You saw a dev changing their viewport with dynamic UI just for social media? Oh, that's a good idea. That's rough. But I could see that working. All right. I know we just got a raid. I'm gonna give Trevor on the shout out. We're gonna keep this raid train going though. Makes it faster in the long run to record stuff, in your opinion? Yeah, I have to figure out what my workflow for that's gonna be. Let's figure that out for sure. You gotta run. Yeah, no worries, no worries. We're gonna keep this raid train going. We'll find someone. Thanks for hanging out, Trevor. Take it easy. Hopefully I can see some of your stuff next time. Let's see. Where are we going on this fine Friday? Hypnotic looks like they just started. That's probably a good choice. Tofu Pixel. Adagon's playing some post-jam games. That's pretty cool. Big Boy's on, but we rated Big Boy last time. I don't know what Hypnotic's doing. What's Adagon doing? Playing some games. We'll raid Adagon. Adagon's playing some jam games. Hanging out there. It's a good time. Thanks for the stream. No, thank you, Jacob. It wouldn't be a stream without Jacob. We'll raid Adagon. Adagon was here earlier. But we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do our usual Saturday stream. I know I've been having a struggle with the consistency lately, but I'm gonna work on it. I wish I could take you all on YouTube with us. Keep it going. I know there's about a dozen of you over there. I see you. Appreciate you hanging out. Hope you're chilling. Hope your weekend's about to start. But yeah, we'll be back soon with more game dev goodness. Wonder if there's something I could do with this space, specifically when the character sheet is up. I wonder. Probably not, because of this. Let's see. Oh well. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend here. Maybe I see you next time. Bye.